Mr. Adler, nice to meet you. I'm a constituent of yours. I live in Cherry Hill. I'm trying to call your office for quite a number of weeks. Robert Whitekettle. I'm happy to meet you because, like I said, I've been calling your office for 6 weeks now and don't quite get an answer, although the people that work there are very friendly. Mr. Adler, you know, in the country I grew up in, this really is my question, but I wasn't, you know, I'm not accustomed to being forced to buy health insurance against my will by a bunch of Washington elitists. But my issue is that 6 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, I watched members of my Congress on my House floor stand up and clap for a foreign dignitary disrespecting my country, my states, and my laws. I'm sure you're aware of this. President Calderon from Mexico stood up on our House floor making disrespectful comments about my country. And I watched my Speaker of the House stand up and clap. I watched my Vice President stand up and clap. I watched Senator Melendez stand up and clap. I watched 2/3 of the Congress and the House of Representatives and George Sessions stand up and clap for this man. Where's the accountability? Is anybody going to stand up and say enough of these people in Washington that are paid by me to represent me stop disrespecting my country? My president goes all over the world apologizing for my country, and I'm tired of it.
The last part.
Any accountabilities? Are you gonna address this congressionally? Because this has to stop. And the country that I know, it didn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. You loved your country. And I feel like today, in this country, the people that run my country, a large part of them, not all of them, but a lot of them that are in the majority, seem to have some resentment for this country and hate this country. And it baffles my mind. I mean, I wake up sometimes, I don't know where I'm living anymore. I love my country. I'm not apologizing for it, and I want some accountability.
I thank you for that. I thank you for coming out this morning. Go Phillies. Although
yeah, they certainly
we got to find some runs.
They certainly do.
Again, I know there are people of both parties who express these views, and you're baffled when you hear somebody say something you don't think is the core essence of what America is supposed to be about. I think we should be pulling together and solving problems to celebrate our freedom, to keep our country safe. And when you see people bashing America, you can identify a problem, but don't bash. You see it all the time, and I'm astonished.
These are congressional representatives.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm astonished when you see people tearing down our country.
This is our vice president.
Am I disagreeing with you?
No, I'm just saying. Okay. This is our vice president.
You mentioned the senator. You mentioned the speaker. I see these people of both parties saying things that chill me, that make me think that they're not there for the right reasons in some cases. I'm not saying it about a particular instance, a particular person. I think there's too much harshness rather than more building up our country. We have been, almost since our inception, the greatest country in the world in every single way. And when we aren't the greatest, we fix it. We fix it together through democracy, through the will of the people, and this amazing, ongoing, successful experiment. And so I'm not as discouraged as you are, but I do hear the comments of a couple other people about the partisanship, about the nastiness, about failure of people to try to work together to serve our great country now and for the future. You don't see me do that. I don't think you almost, I think there are very few times you'll hear me say something and wince. I may misspeak in some sort of way, but you're not going to see me apologizing for America. I'm about solving problems, identifying problems, not ignoring the problems of our country, but solving them in an American way that builds us up rather than tears us down. So I hope, at least in my conduct, you'll see the sort of...
so you have no intentions of addressing this congressionally?
Of what, holding a hearing to blame the President of Mexico?
At least some kind of explanation as to why this seems to be like a new norm.
I think there's so much harsh rhetoric in Washington now in ways that I just don't understand. It's just not in my nature to be tearing down our country or people of either party or suggesting other countries are fundamentally